What if I told you there's a private jet that burns through $30,000 in fuel on a single cross-country flight, requires 3 pilots instead of 2, and costs more to operate per hour than most people make in a year? You'd probably think that sounds insane. But for a tiny group of ultra-wealthy individuals, this is exactly what they want. Because when you have unlimited money, normal private jets just aren't exclusive enough. Meet the converted Boeing 727, a flying contradiction that shouldn't exist but does. While billionaires typically buy sleek modern jets, these rebels took decommissioned 1970s airliners and spent years turning them into something that makes every other private aircraft look like a Honda Civic. Only a handful of these $25 million monsters exist worldwide, and today, we're going inside one. The cabin. When you first step into a converted Boeing 727, the sheer scale hits you immediately. We're talking about a cabin that's over 100 feet long. That's longer than most people's entire property. The main cabin area stretches for about 90 feet, giving you more walking space than some Manhattan apartments. The width is equally impressive at 12 feet and 4 inches, which means you can literally walk side by side with 3 other people without bumping shoulders. But it's the height that really sets this apart from traditional private jets. At 6 feet and 2 inches of headroom, even tall passengers can walk around comfortably without ducking. Compare that to most business jets where anyone over 6 feet is constantly hunched over, and you start to understand why some wealthy individuals choose this route despite the massive operating costs. The layout possibilities are virtually endless with this much space. Most conversions divide the cabin into multiple distinct areas. You typically start with a formal dining area near the front, featuring a custom-built table that can seat 8 to 10 people. The chairs are usually upholstered in premium leather and mounted on swivel bases so passengers can easily turn to face different directions during conversation. Moving toward the middle of the aircraft, you'll find the main lounge area. This is where the real luxury shows. We're talking about oversized recliners that make first-class airline seats look like folding chairs. They're specially designed aviation seats that meet all safety requirements while providing maximum comfort. Many feature built-in massage functions, heating, and full recline capabilities that turn them into beds. The entertainment systems in these conversions are absolutely next level. Picture multiple large-screen televisions mounted throughout the cabin, each connected to satellite systems that provide live programming and internet connectivity even at 40,000 feet. Some owners install full home theater setups with surround sound and projection systems that rival high-end cinemas. Many conversions also include sleeping quarters that go far beyond what you'd find on smaller jets. Some feature full bedrooms with queen-size beds, private bathrooms with showers, and separate dressing areas. The master suite in a well-appointed 727 conversion can rival luxury hotel rooms, complete with premium linens, custom lighting, and climate control systems. The galley area is where things get really impressive. Unlike the tiny kitchenettes found on most private jets, a converted 727 can accommodate a full commercial-grade galley with multiple ovens, large refrigeration units, and prep space that would make professional chefs happy. This means the catering possibilities are virtually unlimited. You can serve fresh meals that are actually prepared on board, rather than just reheated. The cockpit. The cockpit of a Boeing 727 tells a fascinating story of aviation history. When these aircraft were first introduced in the 1960s, they represented cutting-edge technology. Today, walking into the cockpit feels like stepping back in time, but many converted aircraft have received significant avionics upgrades that blend old-school charm with modern safety systems. The most striking feature is the 3-person crew requirement. Unlike modern jets that typically operate with just 2 pilots, the 727 was designed with a flight engineer position. This third crew member sits sideways behind the pilots and monitors the aircraft's systems using dozens of analog gauges and switches. For private operators, this means higher crew costs, but it also provides an extra level of system monitoring and redundancy. The instrument panel is a masterpiece of 1960s engineering. Hundreds of individual gauges, switches, and indicators cover nearly every surface within reach of the crew. While this might look overwhelming compared to the glass cockpits found in modern aircraft, experienced 727 crews appreciate the direct, tactile feedback that analog instruments provide. The visibility from the cockpit is exceptional thanks to the large windows and relatively low seating position compared to modern commercial aircraft. This gives pilots excellent situational awareness during all phases of flight, particularly during approaches and landings at challenging airports. Engine and performance. The Boeing 727 is powered by 3 Pratt & Whitney JT8D engines, 2 mounted on the sides of the rear fuselage and 1 integrated into the tail. This tri-jet configuration was relatively common in the 1970s, but has largely disappeared from modern aviation. Each engine produces approximately 14,000 pounds of thrust, giving the aircraft impressive performance characteristics even when loaded with luxury interior modifications. The takeoff performance is particularly noteworthy. A fully loaded 727 can reach its rotation speed of approximately 150 miles per hour in less than 6,000 feet on most runways. This means it can operate from airports that might be challenging for larger modern jets, opening up destination possibilities that wouldn't be available with bigger aircraft. Once airborne, the 727 cruises comfortably at altitudes between 35,000 and 42,000 feet. The typical cruise speed ranges from 450 to 500 miles per hour, depending on altitude, weight, and weather conditions. While this isn't as fast as modern business jets that can exceed 600 miles per hour, it's perfectly adequate for most private travel requirements. The range capabilities are where things get interesting for private operators. With full fuel tanks, a converted 727 can fly approximately 2,500 miles without refueling. This means non-stop flights from New York to Los Angeles or from London to Moscow are well within its capabilities. For longer international trips, one fuel stop typically extends the range to cover virtually any global destination. The flight characteristics are surprisingly smooth for an aircraft of this vintage. The 727 was designed for passenger comfort, so the ride quality remains excellent even after decades of service. The tri-jet configuration provides good stability in turbulence, and the relatively low wing loading means the aircraft handles gusty conditions better than many smaller jets. The price. When we talk about a $25 million Boeing 727 conversion, we need to break down what that number actually represents. The initial aircraft purchase is just the beginning of a very expensive journey that separates serious players from casual dreamers in the private aviation world. A decent 727 airframe suitable for conversion typically costs between $2 and $5 million, depending on its condition, total flight hours, and maintenance history. But here's where things get expensive fast. The conversion process itself can easily cost $20 to $30 million or more, depending on the level of luxury and customization desired. The conversion timeline is equally daunting. Most quality conversions take 2 to 4 years to complete, during which the aircraft is completely stripped down to its basic structure and rebuilt from the inside out. This isn't a simple refurbishment. We're talking about essentially creating a custom aircraft interior that must meet all aviation safety requirements while providing unprecedented luxury. But the purchase price is just the entry fee. Operating costs are where the 727 really separates itself from traditional private jets. Fuel consumption is substantial. We're talking about approximately 1,000 gallons per hour of flight time. With jet fuel prices fluctuating between $4 and $7 per gallon, a typical 4-hour flight burns through fuel costs of $20,000 to $30,000. For those who prefer not to own outright, charter costs provide insight into the true operating expenses. Hourly charter rates for converted 727s typically range from $15,000 to $25,000 per flight hour. This includes all operating costs, crew, fuel, and insurance, giving potential users a complete picture of what it actually costs to operate these magnificent aircraft.